When I first started this, I honestly didn't expect to get this much involved. It all started with my wife and I fulfilling requests for photos for Find a Grave. It expanded to my wanting to walk through sections of cemeteries and getting everybody there documented as best we could. In most of the cemeteries we visited, the grounds were well kept and it was well ordered. Most of the stones were upright. Morley Cemetery, on the other hand, it was just sad. Most of the stones were falling over or were sinking. The place was being mowed, but that's about all there was. It's abandoned cemetery, so that's as much as one could usually expect. Many of the markers were just not in good condition. As I walked through, I found so many markers that were broken or collapsed or tilted. Sometimes they were just in pieces. And nobody else was doing anything to help with this, so I thought, well, I could probably pitch in and try to do some good here. One of the obvious places I could help at was at the south end of the cemetery near where one parks a car. There were two grave markers that were completely fallen over and were just sinking into the dirt. With some effort, I lifted the pieces up and got them stacked back on. I had no idea at the time how heavy these stones could be. I also did a little cleaning of the stone, but realized that without setting it up better, it was going to fall over again in a few years. This grave marker is for William Kingdon, who lived from 1808 to 1896, and his wife Margareta Kingdon, who lived from 1814 to 1880. William James Kingdon was born on September 27, 1808, in North Moulton, Devon County, England, the eldest child in his family. Margareta A. Calkins was born in 1814 in Exeter, Devon County, England. No information has been found regarding her parents' or early family life. When William was 30 years old and Margareta was 24, the two were married. Soon afterward, the couple emigrated to the United States. Between 1839 and 1844, they had 3 children while living in Albany, New York. Around 1846, they moved to Wisconsin, where 2 additional children were born. By 1855, the family had settled in Illinois, where their youngest child was born. During the Civil War, at age 51, William enlisted in the Union Army in August of 1861. He served as a private in the 3rd Illinois Cavalry. His son, William H. Kingdon, also enlisted around the same time. While William was in military service, the family lost their 3rd child, Margaret Ann, who died at age 19. Both William and his son were discharged and returned home in 1864. After the war, William and Margareta moved to Washington County, Nebraska, where William took up farming. He may have owned more land than this, but there are records that in 1884 he owned land in Township 17N, Range 10 East, in the northwest part of Section 3, just a little over a mile to the east and north of this cemetery. At the time of the 1870 census, William was 62 years old and Margareta was 56. In 1875, their eldest son, William H. Kingdon, died and was buried at Morley Cemetery. 5 years later, on October 26, 1880, William lost his wife, Margareta, who died at 66 years of age. William was at that time 72. Margareta was also buried at Morley Cemetery. By the time of the 1885 state census, William was living in Arlington, Nebraska. He remained there until his death from heart failure on February 27, 1896, at the age of 87. He was buried at Morley Cemetery beside his wife. Now, at this point in the restoration, I have managed to get all 3 pieces of the grave marker moved aside. I've dug down to where there were bricks that were originally supporting this marker and have put crushed limestone on top of it. This will provide a better base that can be leveled and will be better for this in the future to help keep it from falling over again. I now use the hoist to get the heavy base back in place. And after lowering it, we'll work on leveling it. The heavy bottom stone that I've gotten in place at this point is called the base. This middle part is called the plinth. Notice that when it was carved, they put the name of the deceased on there so that it would be clear which stone went with which die, which is the top part, the vertical part of this marker. Now that I have the plinth back in place, I'm using the sticks to make a space in which to put the adhesive epoxy and the monument setting compound to hold these two pieces together and seal it against water. I also did some cleaning with a plastic flat blade that is safe for the stone. Now that I have the base and the plinth properly adhesed together, the time has come to put the die back on top and do the same thing with that. I used the hoist to lift it back up in place. And once it was up there, I again made the adhesive epoxy putty to put underneath, as well as the setting compound. With a heavier stone, it helps to use one of the sticks to tilt it, but this one was not terribly heavy, so I just pushed it aside and set it in place. The last part of the job is to use the tool to remove the excess setting compound so it has a nice clean appearance. Here I have put the dirt back around the base. The stone has not yet been fully cleaned, but it is in place and should remain upright for many years. After cleaning, the stone looks remarkably better. The stone on the left is facing west, and that is for William Kingdon. On the right is the other side for Margaret Kingdon, facing east. And on the plinth on her side, there is an epitaph. It reads, "The pains of death are past, labor and sorrow cease, and life's long warfare closed at last. Her soul is found in peace." Thanks for joining me for this first chapter in what will be a long journey in bringing Morley Cemetery back to a state of respectability. I have many stones to repair and many stories of these pioneers that I can share. Please like, subscribe, and tell others if you enjoy viewing this type of work.